round. So Michael Moorer in the green, Vassiliy Jirov in the tiger stripes. Jirov gives away 29 pounds to Moorer, who comes in at 247, but as he said, and most everybody agrees, it's a different 247 than he was when he was 251 the last fight. He does seem to be a little bit more fit. Early rounds important in this fight. You pointed that out, Sean.
Well, I think the first 3 rounds are going to be a barnstorm. Both of them trying to set the tempo and the pace of this fight. Then once they settle into it, that tempo will subside a bit about the 4th, 5th round. And I think that's a perfect opportunity for either fighter. You know, they both have great power.
Moorer was telling us today that he feels that he can come up the middle against Jirov, that Jirov comes in wide. And so far, it's exactly what he's doing. He's had an effective jab early in this fight.
Well, the shortest distance between 2 points, Barry, is a straight line. That's what he's trying to track.
Another thing is Jirov seems to be stepping into Moorer's punching range early in this fight. Maybe he thinks he can out-punch a puncher.
And it may be that when you're in there with a puncher, sometimes you want to prove to people, hey, I can take his shot. Not the good thing to do, though.
Moorer working the right jab fairly well and keeping Jirov off of him so far. Jirov working the body. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, that'll zap the energy. That'll take the power away from your opponent. If he's a good right-hand puncher, hit him on that right side of his body. He won't be able to lift that elbow. Same thing with the left side. Michael Moorer, 36 KOs in his 46 wins. Big puncher for Jirov, 29 KOs in his 33 wins.
So they both got pop, and they both have one-punch power, too. Again, a good left to the body, but coming up over the top is Moorer. Very little to choose between these two in the first round.
Both trying to establish the power. Look at them mixing the attack from Tiger. Moorer has a habit of just shuffling in there, just shuffling back and forth, and just sitting there, kind of rocking back and forth. You've got to get out of that rocking chair. You've got to throw punches, and if you're going to move like that, move your head side to side, bob and weave. There you go.
Good left to the body, and he got out of there. Moorer's right hand whistled by him. Misses again. Jirov has said that Moorer's power is when he's absolutely flat-footed. So if you're circling, he can't stand there flat-footed and really crank his punches. And that's what Jirov is trying to do here in the first round. Now he's moving from left to right. He's also come from right to left.
You should never stay in front of your opponent. Both of them southpaws. They've got an obnoxious style. It's difficult to face a left-hander.
That rocked him. A good right hand by Moorer. And another one. And now Jirov, I would think, will have some respect for Moorer here. I thought a very good first round, except for that last punch by Michael Moorer. That is a very good first round for that man, Jirov. Let's take a look at the scouting reports. First, Michael Moorer.
Busy first round for both fighters. Michael Moorer on his stool, taking a breath. And Michael Moorer, you know, on the fighter profile, he's patient and poised in the ring. Real savvy. He's a questionable conditioning at times, and he wears a size 13 shoe. Why is that important? Well, the power comes from the mat, the ring, and the size of your foot, the foot pad. Vassiliy Jirov also has big feet, but here's the fighter profile. Olympic gold medalist in '96. He's a southpaw with an aggressive style. Former IBF cruiserweight champion. 2 real champions. This should be an outstanding matchup.
Well, the right hand by Moorer at the end of that first round definitely rocked Jirov. So we'll see now how he chooses to fight. He's got to have a little respect for that, at least early in this fight. Because it wasn't a particularly huge punch.
No, it was not. But the balance that Michael Moorer has, again, the feet. When you build a house, you build it with a strong foundation, a good base. That's the way you want to build a fighter. And when you've got a fighter that's got size 13 shoe, there's more of a base there. Also has big hands. Why is that important? The big hands, larger target. And you can hit your target. Bigger weapon.
And Moorer has always been a heavy-handed puncher. He was a heavy-handed puncher as a light heavyweight.
Pick up those hands, Michael. Give me a corner. Give me the wife in his corner, coach.
One punch, knockout power. As does Vassiliy. Look at Vassiliy giving these angles. Circle your opponent. keep him out of position. Jirov is a wily fighter in there.
Jirov feels that he did not fight the right fight against Joe Messi. Honestly, I thought that he really was the better fighter of the two in there, but he let Messi get ahead so far on points that even though he knocked him down 3 times in the last 2 rounds, he wasn't able to muster enough to win the fight on points. I think he wants to change that here.
Yeah, he said that was a really messy fight for him.
Thank you.
And he says, you know, I just started too late. That's why in this fight he promises to start earlier. And look at this circling from him. That is so effective.
That's exactly what Thel Torrance, his lead trainer, the man in his corner along with Hedgeman Lewis, he's got a lot of brain trust in that corner, I'll tell you that.
Those are outstanding trends. Those are the Burgess Merediths of boxing.
Yep.
I mean, they can guide you through the fight. They can tell you how to win these battles.
Right now, he's got Moorer following him around. You know, I just thought Jirov in the first round was the busier of the 2 fighters. Even though Moorer rocked Jirov, I didn't think he did enough to win the round. The same thing's happening here.
I can see a case for that. And Moorer has a way of making you fall asleep, lulling you into this false sense of security. So Jirov cannot fall for that.
Well, and as we said earlier, Moorer has 1-punch knockout power. He can change the fight with 1 punch, much as he has had 1 punch change the fight the other way against him.
Oh, yeah. But he normally takes a good shot. He's been knocked out a couple of times, but as long as he's focused. Where his problem comes is when he falls asleep in fights. And you do that, your trainers have to keep you motivated, keep you in the fight.
Jirov is outworking him here in the second round, much as he did, I believe, in the first round.
Listen for the bell.
Straight a little low.
Okay, bring him up. Let's go.
Too low. Got to bring him up.
That's the end of the second round.
Thank you, Lou.
Michael Moorer has had his moments, and here is a nice shot from him. Michael Moorer.
I think that punch probably looked better at first blush than it really did. Looked like it caught him up on a shoulder to me.
Well,
Tom Arnold joins us now. Tom, I think the next round is the one you said Moorer was going to whack him in, didn't you?
No, I said 6th round, guys. Pay attention to the show. I got to tell you, Michael Moorer, I gave him that round, but Jirov, the Tiger, is doing a lot more cardio out there, and he doesn't sit down between rounds, which I've noticed. The only real 10 I've seen so far tonight is the ring girl. So I think they're sniffing each other like dogs at the park, and they're going to make their move. I hope one of them has a plan.
I think they probably both have a plan, and they're both executing it fairly well so far.
I think so. It's looking good.
Yeah, I think so,
so
too.
early in this fight. You know, professional fighters don't start until the 3rd and 4th round to get their muscles loosened up, and the muscles start working, and the joints, and the knees, the bending the waist, everything starts working in 3rd or 4th round, and we are in the 3rd round.
I guess who's joined us here? Great pal of ours here on the Sunday Night Fights, and a great champion, of course, talking about James Lights Out Tony. And pretty good.
James.
It's always great to see you.
Seeing a good scrap here.
This is a bunch of knees right here. This is an excellent fight, but I think right now I'm waiting for one of the fighters to impose their will on one another.
I thought Jirov kind of outworked Moorer in the first 2 rounds.
The first 2 rounds with the Jirov, but I think Moorer needs to, like I said, needs to wake up, get started. He got to get started right away because Jirov, the longer the fight goes, the better it is for Jirov.
Do you think Michael is waiting for that one big power punch?
Yeah, he almost got it right there.
Yeah. Oh, he can hit.
I think as soon as he hit Jirov, you're going to see a different tone in Jirov makeup. Like I said, Jirov is an extremely good fighter, you know, great pressure fighter. Right now, Michael got him out of his game. I've never seen Jirov go back so much in his career.
Well, also he's
like
real
respect.
busy. Do you think Jirov is out hustling Michael?
Yes, Jirov, he's definitely out hustling on the inside and outside. So what I think what Michael got to do, Michael got to step up his pace, more feints like he just did there, and when he's ducking, come back with something. Jirov was open for a lot of shots, especially on counter left and counter right hook.
Missing counter, blocking counter,
yes,
ducking counter, right?
Definitely, because right there, up jab. They both trying to jab.
I thought Del Torrance, James, made an interesting point. We talked to him this morning. You know, he said he felt that if he kept circling, then Moorer couldn't really settle down on his punches.
Exactly.
He'd have to get up on his toes, and that's what Jirov's doing. Pretty good fight plan, I think.
Yes, excellent fight maker. Michael, like I said, he's a banger. He has to be set to throw the good shots. Uh-oh.
Whoa, two banged heads.
Real clash of heads.
Uh-oh.
And they're going to call that a knockdown. 8. And he gets up.
The headbutt? Headbutt. All right.
Is there any describing what that feels like, James?
Well, headbutt to me, I just got to shake it off and come back. Got to shake it off and come back. It doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? You can't go down and whimper like that. It's a man's game.
They hurt more than a punch, don't they? Anytime?
They hurt. It's like it's head crack.
Yeah, and Jirov has a cut on the top of his head.
Yeah, it's not headbutt. Let's prove it. He got the worst of the shebang, even though Michael Moorer kicked the knee and got the point deduction. I think that blood can play. If Michael, now you see the blood, he got to step it up.
Oh, sure.
He has to step it up.
And also, when you see your own blood like that.
Oh, yeah. Now Jordan was in the rage. Now he's going to try to get him out of there.
You haven't seen your blood very much, but I saw mine a lot.
Oh, yeah. But see, Sean,
maybe you fight a lot.
You was a great era. You was a great fighter.
Well, thank you.
Oh, my God.
How are you?
Well, that was a big round for Jirov, but I thought Jirov did the right thing because what he might have done there was substantiated a 10-8 round for himself.
Definitely. But all depends. I hope they don't stop the fight on the headbutt because it could be a technical draw.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
You know, it's high on the head of Moorer. It's also kind of right on the point of the head of Jirov. Both of them moving in at the same time. Yeah. Both of them reaching for a hook. And boom, there it is.
I hate to see a fight like this come to an end like that. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. That cut is up on the top of the head, and the problem there is the blood comes down into your eyes and affects your vision, right?
It comes down into your eye, and you can't see. But I think, if they got a great cut man, they should be able to stop it.
And those are terribly difficult to stop, James, as you know, because coming up there is like your blood vessels and your skin.
Exactly. Unless you're bald head like me, you can really get to it.
Yeah.
John, got right to it. I know. I need to get my head bald here.
I don't know about you, but I got to get a jacket like that. You're looking great, man.
Thank you, man.
James Toney. James, thanks for being with us. We look forward to seeing you.
I appreciate it. Y'all great team. Great team.
James Toney.
James Toney, one of the greats.
And a guy that really understood how to resurrect your career. I mean, that's something that these fighters today need to know. Some of the fighters we're watching tonight. Vassiliy Jirov and Michael Moorer could utilize that as well. It's so important too, and it seems like your career, you fight in your ups and downs, the ebbs and flow of your career, as James knows. You gotta sometimes put it all together, go back to the basics, and do what was working for you in the first place.
I think now for Michael Moorer, it's an uphill battle. It's not to say it can't be won.
Oh, those hurt.
I think
body shots.
Jirov's getting pretty brave here.
He came in tonight with a great deal of confidence. When we talked to him today, Barry, he had no idea that he was going to do anything except control the fight from the first round on, from the onset.
He's been very sharp, and I think getting sharper.
Oh, yeah.
There's another headbutt up under the chin by Jirov. Blood continues to come down the face of Vassiliy Jirov from the scalp. And another headbutt.
Boy, you really got to watch your opponent's head. Wow, really put those hands up around your face.
He's leaning in with his head. There's no question about it. I mean, this could get ugly. It's already fairly ugly, but we could start getting points deducted, and we could even wind up in a DQ here. And you don't want to see the fight end.
No, never. Never. They have a rule in the amateurs that you can never let your head in front of your hands, in front of your guard. I wish the pros would adopt that, because your gloves would always be in the way of your heads coming together.
In the meantime, Jirov is really administering a beating right now to Michael Moorer.
And I applaud him. He hasn't allowed the cut, the headbutts, to get him out of his focus.
There's the best punch of the fight by Jirov right there. Knocked Moorer backward.
You got to stay focused and concentrated, even though you have a cut, even though you have blood streaming down your face. You really have to remember what your fight plan is. Sometimes that must change.
this is really more about what Jirov is doing than what Moorer is not doing.
Yes. Michael needs to be busier. There you go. Those are combinations.
Every time he does, he gets Jirov going backward.
And it's so hard to knock out a fighter with one punch. He does have one punch power, but you get him hit with these easy punches. He lowers his guard, and then you can clock him.
Good body shot at the bell.
Ice pack. All right. Ice pack. Good sir. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Okay, now look. I want you to box in this round like nothing has happened, okay? Stay real loose, like nothing happened. I want you to keep the jab going and keep paying with it, see? Yeah. Keep stepping around and keep busting him up with the jab. Okay. Don't get hurt. Now, when you pull out, make sure you pull out with your hands up, okay? Okay. And don't pull out in a straight round. Just pull out in a little angle.
Just watch that head. Next time you come in with the head, I'll take your point from it, all right? You understand that? Don't leave with the head.
Okay, all right? Hit him with the three shot, baby. Hit him with the three shot.
Wipe his arm with the sponge. Wipe right there. Get him
out. Neck.
Good.
Get his neck. Where my toe towel at, Rick?
I was using that towel for it. I didn't know. They sleep. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Wait, keep your tight glove, okay? Keep your tight glove.
Go on down. Go on down.
Tight glove. You're doing good.
Let's go.
Doing good. Let's go. Hey. Hey, look.
Round number 5, and some serious intent in both corners.
Yeah. No drama here, huh? Man, both of them, both corners. Look, you see the caution. You know, you see what brings out the fighter in all of us. You know, you got cut. You're out there swinging. Talk about heart. Both of these kids have that.
And Jirov is fighting a very smart fight here.
Oh yeah.
He's starting to wear Moorer down, I think. Now I respect Moorer's power, and I still obviously have to stay to the game plan. But right now, it's been all Jirov.
Hey, the last thing any fighter loses is his power. Remember what Michael told us today at our meeting? He said, I'm sorry, Jirov told us, I'm going to box Michael when he wants to fight, and I'm going to fight him when he wants to box.
And Moorer's getting angry because he feels there was another headbutt. I didn't see that one. Good shot, right hand.
Right hook. That right hook is a dangerous weapon. It comes at you from an angle on the side where you're not paying attention. And it cracks you.
Jirov working the jab very consistently. It's not a powerful jab, but it's there, and it's in your face all the time.
And it's what's controlling the jab. You know how many times I've said the jab is the most important weapon? Look at him here. He's controlling the jab. If Michael were to jab with him, Michael might be able to steal the play away. But I think that is controlling this fight for Vassiliy Jirov.
That one was low again.
Oh,
caught him on the way in with a right hand. Jirov out-quicking Moorer. He's just not allowing Moorer to get off.
And Moorer a little flat-footed here, feeling that 247 pounds. You know, he's had only 2 fights at this kind of weight, this heavy. One he won and one he lost. Look at these moves. Lateral movement. Just step around your opponent. Great job from Jirov.
I don't think you can make a case yet for Michael Moorer having won a round. Maybe the first.
Yes, I agree with you. Michael has, and that's been the problem with Michael. He's sometimes, he's such a thinker. And we talked about it today. He really thinks a lot. Sometimes in these fights, if you think the opening's gone, you have to react. It's trained, it's conditioned.
Stop the bell, fellas.
Wild left hand by Jirov, but again, I think he did enough to win this round.
No punching, go back.
End of 5. Well, Tom Arnold joins us now. And Tom, how are you seeing this fight? The Tiger looks to me like the Tiger.
He does look like the Tiger. I'm enjoying it, though. I'm a little nervous about Michael Moorer. I think he's waiting for something big. But the Tiger is still leading with his head, even with the injury. And I've had a couple of hair transplants, and I know how painful those are. So he's a brave guy. He's swinging a little low. I'm worried he's going to lose some points, but it's a good fight, and hopefully Michael Moorer has a plan because he hasn't enacted it yet. That's for darn sure.
I think that's true, and I think the other guy, as you said, has enacted it.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. This is the round, though. This is it.
That's right. This is the one. This time I mean it. This is the one you predicted.
This is the one. Let's see what happens.
All right, Tom. Thanks very much. Tom Arnold, of course, with a knowing eye.
You know, and that may happen. I mean, it only takes, the great thing about these heavyweights is it only takes one opportunity. You drop your guard one time. Perhaps you get complacent. Jirov has to remain focused. Moorer can land the big power. He does have it. And he wants to deliver it.
So this is round 6. Moorer's just been unable to get off, and I think that has more to do with Jirov than anything else.
Of course it does. And Jirov, see how, even though a lot of these punches that he is throwing, they don't have a lot of power to them from Vassiliy, but he's putting them in his face. You know, keep your opponent's eyes busy. Keep hitting him, and he can't hit you. Keep him on the defense. Hard to play that rock, scissors, paper in a glove, wouldn't it?
Can't do it. You have to be rock all the time.
Well, he's they both have rocks in their fists.
Don't hit that kidney, step back.
These two heavyweights.
I just think Jirov has come in here with an idea of what he wanted to do. And he's done it. Yeah. Triple jab right there. Triple jab again.
These jabs, so vital. You know, you use that jab too to steer your opponent. You put him out there, you put him where you want to put him, and then you nail him with a powerful cross. You know, boxers leave that cross behind them. Their power punch, it's their dominant hand, and they set it up with their passive punch.
Well, you heard the guys talking before about the longer this fight goes. Chris Bird, I think, was mentioning the longer the fight goes, and of course so is James Tunney. The more it is to Jirov's advantage, and not only is it going longer, but he's winning all around.
Sure, I believe that too. I believe that the longer it goes, the better. Jirov is always in terrific condition, and he's got a style that's difficult for somebody like Moorer. Moorer has to have somebody to hit, somebody to stand still.
Slip the left hand in, see what that does for his confidence, but he takes the left hand of the body in return.
Watch that head, Vassiliy. Watch that head. Don't lead with it.
That jab is really bothering Moorer, I think.
Oh, yes, it is. Jab controls the fight. Now, there's a couple of ways you can steal that jab. Just out-jab your opponent is one, or you can go down to the body and make them stop reaching with that jab. You can counter the jab. You've got to control that jab, first of all. Great weapon for Jirov.
Missed with a short hook.
Strike one. You know, when you're carrying an extra 40 pounds.
I'll tell you, if I can interrupt, that left hand of the body just caused Moorer's arm to come all the way down. That's obviously, he's obviously feeling those. And another good round for Jirov.
And he'll feel them tomorrow and the next day he'll feel them. Very smart. Well, it has been a really busy fight. Remember back in the first round, it was both of them kind of feeling out their opponent, but going on the attack. They heated up quickly in the second round. Moorer landed some good punches, but it was Jirov who came back and I think took control of that round. In that third, the two moving forward, banged heads, and boy, they both felt it. In the fourth round, they again were moving forward. Some of the blood coming down from Jirov and a headbutt again. Michael Moorer getting the worst of that one. In the fifth round, really intense and trying to go downstairs to the body and too low from Vassiliy Jirov. And there is Michael Moorer still wondering when he's going to kick in gear. Let those hands fly. You know, when you're carrying extra weight like that, you tend to pose. Stand there and pose and wait for the openings.
But again, I don't think it's so much the conditioning of Michael Moorer or the lack of conditioning. I think he probably is certainly in better shape than he was in his last fight. I just really think that what Jirov is doing here is just keeping him completely off balance.
No doubt. No doubt. Power is so important, and power rules in the sport of boxing. But the quickness and speed will beat power.
You can see the power in that jab of Michael Moorer when he throws it. It's a powerful jab. But it's hard to out-jab a jabber.
Well, he's got a good jab. Michael Moorer does. He obviously boxes from a southpaw stance, but he's naturally right-handed. So he has a lot of power in that right jab.
Left hook by Jirov.
Watch that head.
And Jirov cannot get sloppy here.
Cut over the eye of Jirov now. I think that was from that last little sort of mini headbutt. It's on the side of the eye.
It's by a butt.
And the referee is saying, Pat Russell, that it is the result of a headbutt. Of course, we're past the 4 rounds now. Should they stop the fight, they'd go to the cards.
And he is wiping at that cut. Having been cut many times, you don't know when you're cut. You feel the effects of it, like a headbutt or something, or even a punch sometimes, but you don't know that you're cut until you can feel the blood dripping down your face, or your corner tells you.
And what it's done is it's made Moorer a little braver here. And Moorer is sensing something.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what he needed. A little bit of confidence.
That blood is coming down with some consistency here. They got some work to do in Jirov's corner. And all of a sudden, Moorer gets on the attack a little bit here.
And the crowd hears it. They see it. This is an astute boxing crowd. They've seen some big fights. They know when the tension is there, and they care.
I think, though, that much as Jirov let Misi get away with the fight early, I think that's what Moorer has done here. So I think if he's going to win the fight, he's going to have to whack him. A much better round for Moorer, despite Jirov having had his moments.
Top of the bell.
Jirov, a bloody mess.
And there's some serious work to be done in the corner of Vassiliy Jirov. Gonna get a chance to see the headbutt here. There it is. It wasn't as serious as the other headbutts.
No, but I think he's been taking several headbutts over on that eye, just the way he stands and the way he turns.
Well, Tom Arnold, looks like the worm is turning a little bit here.
Well, it seems like it a little bit, but you know, with the Tiger, his style, he always seems like he's kind of staggered a little bit. But hopefully that blood won't stop the fight, and they'll just let it keep on going so we can see a full fight, because these guys both have a lot left in them, I think.
Yeah, I think this fight has really gone not exactly like we all thought it might. I think it's not only gone into the later rounds, but it's still, both these guys still pretty active into the later rounds.
Well, it's funny how this last round started off slow. It was boring. It wasn't as exciting as rock, paper, scissors, and then, you know, it turns out great.
Yeah, so far it really is. I gave Moorer that last round as the first round I gave him.
Me too. And the last round, as you said. They did a nice job working on that cut. It is a vertical cut, which would be more indicative of a headbutt as opposed to a horizontal cut. And they've done a nice job of tending to that cut. What they use in there sometimes is Avatine, or they use thrombin 1 to 1,000, thrombin topical. Try to stop the bleeding. They've got to stop the bleeding. If the blood goes into the eye and impairs the vision, that's when the doctor will stop the fight.
Right now, I don't think that cut is serious enough to stop the fight. And that said, underneath the left eye of Michael Moorer, there's a pretty good swelling, too.
Right, but it's underneath the eye.
No, that's right.
No. They might close the eye, but it wouldn't stop it for the swelling unless it absolutely closes the eye.
No, that's right. I'm not suggesting they would, but it could cause more of a problem as this fight goes on.
Boy, look at this confidence from Moorer. All of a sudden.
Barry Tompkins, the champ, Sean O'Grady alongside, telling you about it. And of course, all the guys from the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Tom Arnold, Chris Rose, John Sally, Brian Cox.
The good to see them enjoying this fight. When they get into it, it really, you know, kind of pumps me up too. And they have gotten into this fight for good reason.
This fight, of course, is a 12-round fight. It is for a championship of a sort. The bottom line is what it does is it propels the winner right into the heavyweight championship picture, where they can start thinking about guys like the guy alongside us, James Toney, and the guy up there on the set, Chris Bird. There's another headbutt. They're going to take a point away from Jirov.
Let's go.
Yes, and for those of you that remember or that have just joined us, this is the Michael Moorer that fought George Foreman. And,
that's right.
Watch that head.
George Foreman came back after 10 years to win a heavyweight championship of the world.
Well, you know, the other thing now, they took the point away from Jirov. So if Moorer goes on and wins this round, all of a sudden he's got a 10-8 round, and the whole complexion of the fight changes.
Back in the fight.
The right hand from Jirov.
You know, that's what's so exciting about this heavyweight division. One punch changes everything.
Now, Jirov absolutely cannot afford any more headbutts.
No place else he can get a cut.
Well, that
he's
too.
cut everywhere.
That too, but I think he's toying with a DQ if he gets another one.
Yeah, that
good uppercut by Moorer. Back Jirov off.
Where was this in the first round? The first few rounds from Moorer.
Watch those heads.
You know, Michael Moorer has had incredible talent.
Now it's Jirov on the attack, and now Moorer answers. And a right hand by Jirov.
What a brawl.
And a right hand by Jirov again. Now it's Moorer that's going backward at the bell. And honestly, I don't know who won that round.
That one was a back-and-forth battle, especially toward the end. It built to a crescendo. Both of them realizing they want that round.
Oh, he got it right. Okay.
Here's how it started. Two banging heads there, right there. See Jirov moving in with it. And the uppercut did a lot of damage to Jirov. Later in the round, Jirov trying to keep the attack on, pressing the attack. And here's the flurry from Jirov toward the end of the round. And Michael Moorer said, no, I need to steal it back. Hard round to judge. Very close.
I gave the round to Jirov, which means on my card it's a 9-9 round because he had a point taken away.
And I gave it to Moorer. But you know, there are those judges that give more credence to aggressiveness. And I think Jirov in that round, where I saw he was more aggressive.
That's an either way round, though. It's very tough round.
That's how close it was. Oh, and you learn so much about your opponent. In a 12-round fight, you learn everything about your adversary. You know him.
This is round 9.
You know what kind of guy he is. You know how he thinks. You're concentrated. You're so focused. You're so in tune with your opponent. You play off his mistakes. You dance with him. No, that's those heads. That looks like another try to headbutt. That's a wrong move. Vassiliy Jirov has got to get rid of that move right there. See where he just ducked his head and walked in.
Free him up. Free up those hands.
He's got to stop that kind of move.
I think he has to be very careful.
Couple of jabs from Jirov. Where was that jab in the last round? You know, Jirov, I talked about it earlier in this fight, how he's controlling with that jab.
Jirov is also getting a little lazy with that right arm. It's down at his hip.
Yes, it is. Oh, slapping left hand from Jirov.
Watch that head.
There was another little headbutt in there.
Oh, another.
Jirov doing good work. The Moorer is back to the ropes. And again, using his head.
Watch those hands. Put a boxing glove on the top of his head.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be careful. He's about to lose another point, and it's not out of the question he could get DQ. Moorer fights off the ropes with a good right hand. Whoa. And a good left hand by Moorer. Jirov trying to fight back, and a left hand by Moorer.
Jirov getting up quickly.
That's a dangerous thing to do. Would have been smarter to stay down. This may be over.
Take an 8 count.
May be over.
No, that fight's
It's over.
It's over. That won him. Michael Moorer out of nowhere.
He did exactly what he needed to do. He did a George Foreman on Vassiliy. Vassiliy Jirov. And we just finished saying he was dropping that right hand, which made him susceptible to the left hand of Moorer.
Take the gloves off. Take them off.
That's a big win for Michael Moorer, and what a comeback win, because he was, on my card, he was behind 6 points.
A huge win, and he has resurrected his career with that punch. You know, we said he's got the power, and I felt like he was always dangerous. But Jirov, still a bit bemused. When he jumped up after being knocked down, it really worked to his detriment, because all of a sudden he started wobbling. What you're taught to do in training is to get up to one knee, take an 8 count, and then stand up. But you're not thinking cognitively. Michael Moorer has resurrected his career. He's got to be so excited. He came in here with great confidence tonight.
I don't think there's any question about it. And it was a very different 247 pounds that he came in with. Here, Brian Cox say that he was a teammate of Richard Hogan's, who was not his trainer, but rather his weight guy, and he physical trainer. And he worked with him on the physical part of it, and of course his corner did the training for the fight. And Michael Moorer, while he was way behind in this fight, in my opinion, I'll be interested to see the judges' cards, but left no doubt about it with that left hand.
And here's where the mistake happened for Vassiliy. Trying to stand up, just stay on one knee. The problem is it's hard to teach somebody how to do that, because you're not thinking cognitively at that point. You're hurt, you're knocked out, you're fading in and out of consciousness. And referee Pat Russell said that's enough, that's all. Once again, Jirov on the attack. His hands have come down, you're right.
Absolutely.
And boom. Lowering the boom is Michael Moorer.
Look where his right hand is, down at his hip.
And jumping up.